Welcome to Off the Cuff with Namrita. And today, as you can see, the studio is brimming with talent. I do have some members from the cast and crew of an upcoming feature film by Random Drifts, Silence. Random Drifts is one of the fastest growing platforms in the SF Bay Area that provides local talent an opportunity to showcase their ability to act, sing, dance, write, and much more. Whatever you guys want to do. So check them out on YouTube and other social media handles. Random Drifts Productions have garnered millions of views on YouTube, and I've seen their videos. They are gorgeous and absolutely entertaining, I have to say. And I personally vouch for the hardworking and fun team of this platform, and deep gratitude to Anil Gaur and the team for amplifying women voices and showcasing some deeply rooted issues in our society. So I have these members here, and they are all an integral part of the film Silence. I'll start with Anil Gaur. He's the founder of Random Drifts. He is the man maneuvering the ship. He is the director of Silence. Welcome, Anil.
Thank you, Namrita. I appreciate your kind words and the opportunity to be here.
And Madhu is the producer. She is the backbone of all Random Drift projects and Anil's lovely wife. So welcome, Madhu.
Thank you, Namrita.
And Purnima. Purnima is the writer of Silence, the creative force and the sounding board for all the projects. So welcome, Purnima.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Then we have Roshni Datta. She's playing a key role in Silence as Maya. She's widely known and appreciated theatre actor here. A superb dancer and a celebrity in her own right. You can see her. You know how it is. So, welcome Roshni to Off the Cuff.
Thank you, Namrita ji. It's a pleasure.
आप आए और रोशनी आई. And last but not the least, Pavan Kumar. He is playing a very significant role in Silence as Rajan. Another wonderful actor, amazing dancer, and a gym addict too. So you give everybody a complex, by the way. So, welcome to Off the Cuff.
Thank you so much for your kind words. I'm happy to be here.
So let's talk about this new film that is breaking the silence around domestic abuse and intimate partner violence. A very brave effort by Random Drifts to bring such a pertinent subject to light, I'll say. So Anil, I'll start with you with my first question. Why a film around domestic abuse? Why did you choose this subject?
So let me start with some statistics.
Okay.
As per WHO, 1 out of 3 women in their lifetime go through domestic violence. And when you just look at US, every minute 20 people in United States go through domestic violence. So statistics are statistics till you know somebody who's going through that, till you can attach a face with it. So there are several people within our community, who either have experienced domestic violence firsthand, or they know someone who has been, through that. So they reached out to us, Random Drift, like, hey, can you do something about this, So a project that can help raise awareness about domestic abuse. So basically the idea came from there.
Absolutely. It is a taboo subject in not just our society but many different communities. It's not easy to talk about, painful past, I'll say, or present, I'll say. So it is a hard one. But kudos to Random Drift for talking to survivors and doing research to bring this subject out. So, Purnima, you are the writer of Silence, and to bring about stories on such sensitive topics, the script needs to be strong and thought-provoking. So, what and how did you approach the writing for this?
Yeah, like Anil said, this is a very sensitive subject, right?
Yes.
So,
yeah,
it will be communicated to the audience the way you write it. A lot depends on the writing, then a lot depends on depiction of it on the screen.
Yeah.
So I think I had this huge responsibility to start off with the script, but it is entirely based on us interviewing real life survivors. Them telling their story in their own words, getting very emotional sometimes. So all that impacts you when you're asking them questions, going through their stories. And then I think just going through the survivors also made me think there's so many types of abuses that exist within the domestic sphere that we just ignore in our day-to-day life. Even in societies like ours, which we think, we're educated, we have careers, right, well-to-do societies. So I started thinking about what other kinds of abuses or patterns we see in our daily life. And then I could relate to a lot of real life experiences, even outside the survivors, that I see around maybe in my friend circle or my neighbors, or growing up in India, back home. And then I started writing several flavors of it, and obviously throughout, as we were going through the script, running it by Anil and then kind of revising, refining.
So we wanted to kind of make it as authentic as possible, and in the process we talked to several people. And one of the person who is in Mumbai, she was so courageous. She shared her story. She basically opened her heart, and both Purnima and I, we had goosebumps, and our eyes were moist at times. And basically that time we decided, yes, we have to do something, to bring that kind of story on screen, so other people can relate to it. Other people can also feel courage to kind of step up and share their story, what they have faced in their life.
Absolutely, yeah. And what we've known is that abuse is about control, and that's you've shown that very effectively in the film. And mostly films that I've seen have just one protagonist, and the story is told around her. So the good part about this movie is, like Purnima, you said that you've shown different aspects to domestic abuse, and we as a society, or as South Asian Indian community, kind of overlook the microaggressions that happen around us. That could be the silent treatment, and हमने खुद भी किया हुआ, I think. But like we were discussing earlier, Madhu, that we think this is okay.
Exactly.
We don't know this is certain. There's a problem in this. So I think this film is bringing that to the forefront, which is amazing. But one more question again addressed to you, Purnima, is that how did you weave these stories into this narrative?
I think, having heard, like Anil said, we heard a survivor. A lot of her experiences, I could kind of categorize them and saying, okay, this is more about silent treatment, or this is more about financial control. And instead of just showing, like you said, one victim, we tried to show it, so that just to say that this is very widespread.
Yes.
Right? And it is no fault of the victim. Right?
Very true.
So, just having written those stories, but still being able to weave them so that they're flowing together. And each one relates to people, and each one says, you can look at each one and say, yeah, this is also a kind of pattern or abuse that I never thought it was. So that's the whole idea, is so that it gets people thinking. I also do want to caution your audience, whoever is listening, please don't take these lightly, in the sense, one day your partner is not talking to you, he or she is annoyed, oh, this is abuse. So it is not. One day he's just trying to have a financial conversation with you, oh, this is financial abuse. It is not.
Very true.
So the main thing to look is for a pattern.
Absolutely.
And as a director, Anil has tried to show that.
Yes.
In just telling the story.
Very true. And like we're saying, this is a subject, there are no simple solutions to it. Coming to Roshni, you're playing Maya. You've done many challenging roles in theatre. So how did you prepare for this one? The pain and the angst of a DV survivor is difficult to dive in, I have to say, if you've not gone through it yourself. So tell us about your preparation. Any scene that stayed with you?
Thank you for the question. So I think preparation wise, I think we first of all started with the script itself, right? Reading the script, understanding the nuances in the script, underlining the emphasis points, and of course kudos to Purnima-ji's writing and Anil-ji's exploration and explanation of the scene. So we did a bunch of workshops, actually, rehearsals. I mean, filming, it's not like we just went to the film set. तो पहले तो audition हुआ. Audition में मुझे बहुत कुछ समझ में आया. Anil ji ने समझाया कि at this is the background, this is what is happening, and the fact that these stories are all based on true incidents. So because वो फर्क होता है एक fiction, pure fiction में and fact, something that's rooted in real life, you just start feeling the sting even more that at this time there is this person called Maya or whatever her name is in real life who has been able to overcome that period of domestic violence. So we started with that, the reading, the exploration, and then subsequent workshops with your scene partner. So we did all of that. But also I did like when Anilji, I mean, I think he does a great job when he actually starts with the statistics. But then I did spend some time, on the web and looking at the statistics, some stories. And trying, like you said, trying to get into the psyche of that being controlled and how much of that is okay, because being from the South Asian community, like you said, it is a taboo. Acceptance is kind of built into us. We grow up, especially girls, and I don't know, I mean, like a lot of like our aunties and grandmothers would sometimes say pain is good. Sahan is good, is a good skill. Lekin how much of that tolerance is okay? Just because something was okay and people tolerated something all their lives only to kind of suffer inside, was that okay? Should that continue? So there's a lot of these barriers in our mind, in our conscience, in our hearts that we have to keep breaking with every generation. So I kind of try to internalize it with memories that I remember from my childhood, my relatives. Of course, I think now we talk about it more frankly and we say, there's no such thing as dysfunctional family. Dysfunctional is functional because every family has some or the other kind of dysfunction. So I kind of try to reminisce some of those incidents that I had witnessed as a child, growing up as a teen and also into adulthood. Some of my friends who have been in relationships, married or otherwise, and try to kind of really, think about the conversations that I had with them and how they felt at that time, how they broke down, and and how some of them were able to come out of it. Some of them are still trapped. So just trying to just remember them while emoting. And for your second question about which scene remained with you, I think it was the scene with the child, where the child basically asks, I don't want to give too much of spoilers, but asks the mom a poignant question about, what is her decision, whether or not to move on or, stay back and whatever. And the child asks very directly. It's a very small child, and to have that kind of a direct question from a child where you don't know how to react, because there is no straight answer to that, and like we said, that there are no solutions. The film doesn't really present solutions or take sides. It's very difficult. And I remember when the child actor actually asked me that question, even though we had rehearsed that scenes, it was a little surreal. It was like that moment of confusion, that moment of not knowing what is right, what is not, that moment of gathering courage or not. That scene stayed with me for a long time. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I think I've seen it, Anil Center linked to me, and I think I just found you very, very impactful when you said enough is enough. I think that was you captured the whole essence of the character, that okay, now is the time that you so that was amazing. And like you're saying, there are no solutions to it. And one thing good that I found in this film was that you've also shown a male character being in a victim or a survivor, you can say. So it's a minuscule amount of people, but even men get abused. So we are not just saying that only women do here. And now coming to the male character here, Pavan. You play Rajan, and I've seen you in Bombay Talkies and some other Random Drifts production. I think वो comedy थी. So how did you prepare? I know that was a comedy. How did you prepare for this kind of a role, which was very, very negative, very challenging, and how did you say okay to it?
Well, having worked with Anil previously on, so the two things that I'd worked on previously Anil were Not So Pink, a web series.
Yeah, okay.
And Dieting Kalse. And like you said, they're both in the comedy range of, right? They were both hitting comedy and other factors. But I think I was really excited to do this negative role because I don't know, I felt that I'm not negative in life. So this is my opportunity to be negative really. And thankfully, just before doing this movie, I was also doing a short film where I'm playing a negative role. I'm a villain. I'm actually a murderer, etc. So I think that was in good stead. And also a lot of my friends, my female friends, have gone through domestic abuse. Like when I read the script and when Anil told me about these stories, I realized vicariously I could feel how they went through domestic abuse, and I think I felt I could bring this role to fruition and do justice to this role, and I was really excited to play the part.
Yeah, you were fierce, I'll say, and I really liked the way you projected it. I didn't like your character, but yes,
good.
Yeah, but
that's success.
That's that's how I measure success for my role.
Yeah, and you're such an amazing dancer, I have to say. So, did you bring any physicality to the role? जैसे आप चल रहे हो या there's a certain aggression to the character. Did you bring that?
Not based on dance. In fact, if you look at my dialogues, there's one dialogue where I'm humiliating dance. I'm like basically telling तुम्हारे dance से कोई पैसा नहीं लेना है, etc. So I think with respect to that, like I said, I didn't bring any physicality from a movement perspective, but I think I was really interested in the role itself, in the sense the aggression it brings, the way the abuse happens, and how it builds up, and the change in the role's character from pre-dating days to during marriage to post-marriage, etc. And I think Anil brought that in a full circle and really well.
Yeah, I couldn't have asked for a better Rajan.
Absolutely.
Now I'm trying to become myself now.
वो ज़्यादा ना घुस जाए character में आपके उसमें. So coming to the backbone of the entire this, Madhu, you are the producer. What has been the most rewarding part of working on this film for you personally, and any feedback or reactions from early viewers and survivors of domestic violence?
The most rewarding part actually is working with the team and getting awareness of the topic.
Okay.
At points we think that all of this is actually taken for granted, right? I mean, this is not kind of an abuse. Silence abuse are not considered as abuse where I grew up.
Yeah.
And we have seen our parents, we have seen our relatives, we have seen all of the members. Normally, the physical abuse is considered as the abuse, which is seen, visible. But this kind of abuse has brought so much awareness in the team, and awareness to the people who have already watched it.
Yes.
It's like, is this really an abuse? Am I doing that? So people putting their perspective into that kind of character is like, is this really an abuse? Am I doing this to my spouse? Or am I taking them for granted?
Absolutely.
And it looks like there's a lot more to do with this specific topic. It's not just one Maya. There are so many other. But that's the feedback I have received, and that's my takeaway.
And which is true, and I think you've also shown gaslighting in it, which the term I didn't know when I was in India. यहाँ के मुझे पता है ये क्या होता है gaslighting. There's so many things that we don't know about.
Exactly.
I've talked to the president of so many non-profits here who take care of domestic violence survivors like Maitri and Harika, and they say now the spectrum that it has changed. There is digital abuse, there is spiritual abuse, there is religious abuse, there is थोड़ा सा sensitive होना पड़ेगा हमको. We come from a generation where our parents said अगर एक थप्पड़ भी मार दिया तो कोई बात नहीं. So we are coming from that generation. कि आप adjust करो. And we are living in America, in the most in the Silicon Valley. We need to I think learn and relearn and try to change mindsets, and that's what Random Drifts is doing through silence. And Anil, coming to you, media is such a powerful tool. It sometimes mirrors society and also shows a mirror to the society. There are no easy solutions to such kind of relationships, I have to say. So what impact do you think the film will have on the audience who are going to watch this? And how can people help someone that's going through an abusive relationship?
Let me answer this, in three dimensions. Okay.
Okay.
Dimension one is the intent. So we took this project on with the intent to raise awareness about domestic abuse.
Yes.
And we wanted to cover, the broad spectrum, not like one particular aspect. So like mental, physical, financial, you name it, right?
Yeah, financial.
And then, the process. So in the process, we wanted to make it like authentic, which comes from like gathering information as we, discussed. And also we felt we are not presenting a solution, but we don't want to leave it like totally open-ended. So with the different aspects of domestic abuse, we also brought in a subject matter expert. Dr. Simi is like,
yes, she's the,
so she understands this, and she's listening to, all the survivors and presenting, what they could potentially do to, take the next steps. We also try to kind of present it, from an angle of, other people who are not necessarily the a victim or the survivor, but like the family member. Like Roshni mentioned, the little child, right?
Yes.
The child, he understands something is off, but still, he cares about that family. And he's worried that my family may become fragmented. So how it impacts your child, your your friends, your other family members, and then what are the first steps people can take? If I see somebody who's going through this, what advice I can offer. So Maya has a friend, right, who's been noticing this, and then she is the one who kind of nudges her to seek help, which is, I think, very, very essential.
Yes.
So without that, if there is no such person, because there are 10 people who are telling you it's okay, don't worry about it, it's going to be okay, or everybody goes through. But there's one person who will make you realize, no, it's not okay. You can't keep taking it on. So we try to kind of have that character in there, to make people understand that perspective. And then the outcomes, right? So like now you go through the process, and so what came out from the other end. To validate that, this film, as Madhu kind of shared, like the feedback, and the feedback came from the people who contributed their story, right? Like who are going through this or have gone through this, and people who have never experienced any such thing, right? And as you can imagine, it's very different. So from the people who have gone through, the thing I heard like a few times from people, 17 years of my life flashed in front of my eyes when I was watching this. To me, that was huge, right? So the intent is to have the awareness and impact, even if it can, positively impact one person's life. I think it's worth it, and that, that kind of feedback validates it. And the people who have not seen it, it was thought provoking to them. Like, am I, in a like, is there a pattern where I may be taking, undue advantage of my, partner in some way or the other? So I think that's also another important part.
Very true. सोचने पे मजबूर कर देता है वो. That's the media should be doing.
Purpose of art.
इसका ये नहीं है कि तुम दिमाग छोड़ के आ जाओ फिर देखो. वो चीजें भी बनती हैं, but sometimes you need
so
to
with,
watch
with
it.
that kind of outcome, I feel, as a team, I feel like we have done something right, that's valuable, and I hope people will find time to watch it and, take some lessons from it.
Bilkul. Now, coming to the main question, where and when can people watch it, and, how can they be a part of your other Random Drifts project?
To answer your first question, so August 24th is when we plan to screen it in Bay Area. So stay tuned, and it'll be on your page on
Absolutely.
Random Drift page if you're following any of our social media properties. So we would love to see people from Bay Area kind of come support us and spread the word. Right? If you see something valuable in this film, share with others. And that's example. So we released the trailer, right?
Yes.
From the trailer, we have some organizations reaching out to us, like, hey, can we screen this to our audience?
Yes.
And that, made my
That's
day.
a big deal.
That is amazing.
So we are open, right? If there are organizations that are helping, domestic abuse survivors, if you want to tell a story, or present this, broad spectrum to your audience, we welcome that.
Absolutely. To anybody listening or watching, get in touch with Random Drifts?
Randomdrifts.org is our webpage. We have a YouTube channel, Random Drifts. So, like, subscribe.
Share,
comment.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And, send us feedback through Instagram, through Facebook, or direct message from the website. This platform is meant for the community, is by the community, for the community. The idea for this project came from community, and so if you are interested in writing, acting, dancing, music composition, we are here to support you.
Absolutely. As Anil said, it's a very organic platform, and they use local talent to make productions like these. Now we've talked enough about hate and control and manipulation. So my last question is a little personal. Let's talk about love for a moment here. And what do you think? Each one of you think about your relationship, what you treasure in your relationship, and what can need a little improvement. So. Whoever wants to start with anything that you treasure in your relationship right now. Roshni?
Okay, I'll start. I think I'll get emotional when I answer this question, but my relationship with Ritin is definitely, I don't know, made of dreams, I feel. It is something that I never thought that, we all think about, hear about love stories, grow up reading fairy tales, and but we know, when we cross that 15, 16 years of age, that life is more dark than was mentioned in the storybooks, and I didn't really think that I would find a kind of love such as the one I found with Ritin. And I think the thing that I value most is the fact that I can talk to this man about anything. And that is the biggest thing that attracted me towards him. Yes, of course, the fact that he is, so well educated, so well read, and all of that is there. But none of that weighs in on the conversation that we have, on the authenticity of his interactions. And I feel like we can talk about anything. And this was even before we married and we were dating, right? Like anything under the sun, whether it's religion, whether it's politics, whether it's computer science, whether he's a machine learning AI expert, whether it's about that, and I can learn so much from him. And there is room for arguments, there is room for debates, but we can move on from there.
Absolutely.
And I think that is, of course, respect, trust, love, compassion, everything combined into one. So that is what I hold most close to
I
heart.
want to ask you what needs improvement. ये तो पहले ही बहुत high set हो गई है.
Yeah, maybe
I guess no improvement needed. ये got you. What about you, Pawan?
I won't go into specific details, but
quick answers will be good, I think.
I'd like to say that she's extremely, my wife Sneha is extremely kind, supportive. I live a crazy lifestyle, I feel sometimes, and she's very loving, and I can be myself, and I'm accepted for that. So I think that's important, and likewise. In terms of improvement, I think there's always room for improvement in terms of how we communicate.
Yes.
We live in a very fast-paced world right now, and there's always room for improvement in how we communicate what we feel. So.
Okay, great. Purnima ji?
Yeah, hi. So I've been married for 34 years. So you can imagine all the ups and downs and everything. And my husband's name is Sanjeev. So I think at the end of it, you have seen a lot. Grown up kids were born, out of the house now. I think it all just comes down to caring for each other genuinely. After our parents, if there is somebody you can look to for genuinely looking up to when you're in pain or when you're very happy, which is that person? And for me, it's my spouse. So I would just sum it. And for areas of improvement, I think both of them. When we recognize that both have areas of improvement, that's when a true partnership.
Very true, Not just one person can do.
And we all need to learn and improve in so many areas, right? There is no list until the last year of our togetherness. I think there'll be areas of improvement. But the more important thing is to kind of overlook that little bit, have an understanding, and just give space to each other, not ride on their head all the time. I think that's very important. Unko space do, unko chodo, have their own, let them have their life, you have your life, and then connect.
But humko bhi chodo. I like my space.
I know.
My husband knows that she needs a space.
After so many years, we all need our space.
34 में को भी ऐसे हो गया
so time
35.
to give that to each
You need your
other
space.
and really having fun with the relationship right now. Yeah.
So it's pretty hard to add.
I
anything
know.
after.
No, and the fact
But
that they
that-
are here,
Yeah,
they're
I
not
know.
here.
Yeah.
But let me
But
still try to add something. Okay. So yeah, space and all matter. Like I think just respecting your partner as who she or he is.
Yes.
I think it's a great start, right? Don't have expectations that he or she will turn like you or their likings will change. You know, even though when we fell in love, we kind of try to mimic as someone else or like try to present our side that is more likable to the other person, but it doesn't scale, right?
Yeah.
So the success of long-term married life or having a partner is accepting the person as they are, right? Let me give you an analogy, right? So like Earth and Mars, okay? So people say I want peace in my life, okay?
Yes.
There's tons of peace at Mars. You just go there and like there's no environment, nothing, right? You peace. But is that the kind of peace you want? So if you look at Earth has an environment, and I look at that as like human emotions, right? So there'll be volcano erupting one day, there'll be like a hurricane coming,
Tsunami,
or monsoon.
everything.
So and when we see those, we feel like, oh my God, like it's such a big hassle. But that makes it Earth. That makes it life.
Right.
So if you look at yourself, your married life as the Earth, you will have those volcanoes, earthquakes. You just need to take it in a stride. Go through this, have a plan around it, communicate, as he said, because you can't solve a problem unless you acknowledge and communicate, right? So, and just, take all the happy moments, sad moments together, one moment at a time.
बिल्कुल roller coaster ride है.
So, long answer, but,
No, good one.
I'm thinking if there's anything left for me.
You're a master.
You need to, yeah.
This is your opportunity to open up.
Yeah, so for me, it's like whatever he has said, it's his unconditional love, trust and transparency. That's the two factors that, we see in the partner. I'm married for who he is, not like what I want him to become, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want him to change because of my expectation. And I'm also very down to earth. I don't have set my high expectation or anything. And there are ups and downs, like Purnima said. We all have flaws. We try to improve.
Absolute.
Our kids are out. We have so much of time. We go out. It's like giving time to each other, giving space to each other makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. Really great answers, and I hope that helped because this movie is about relationships, and so मैं जाते जाते अब क्या करूँ, मैंने 3-4 लाइनें
आप बताइए.
मैंने बता दिया है, इतना टाइम साथ हो गया है, but I think for me it's more about respect and space.
Yes.
And for me I think it's also letting each other evolve in whichever
Yes.
possible way.
They have a journey.
Because I married very young and my expectations were what I thought was I was putting a lot of load on my family, not just my husband or my children, to make me feel happy or joyful. And when I decided that is I need to take control of that, I think things got a little better, or much better, I have to say. So when you're 35 years of marriage, you need to learn that.
At some point, around 20-25 years, you realize that control of my happiness is with me, not with that person.
And
Exactly.
Not if he takes me out to dinner, or not if my child asks me.
अभी ये हंस रहा है क्योंकि इसको अभी पता नहीं है. अभी जगह पे नहीं लेंगे तो कुछ इन दोनों का ये हाल होगा. But we have evolved. I guess 50-60 में हो जाओगे तुम भी.
आप unnecessarily मुझे spot में डाल दिया.
You were laughing that way. Why not she was?
He's thinking it's unreal. He's coming.
रोशनी का तो परफेक्ट चल रहा है. Touch wood. Anyway, जाते जाते मैंने 4 लाइनें लिखी हैं about the movie silence. That मैं अब ना चुप रहूंगी, अपने अस्तित्व पर प्रहार और ना सहूंगी. जिस घर की दीवारें मुझे खामोश कर दे, उस घर के आंगन से ही मैं अपनी उड़ान भरूंगी.
अरे वाह.
Very nice.
Awesome.
Very nice.
These lines capture the essence of this movie
movie.
perfectly.
बिल्कुल.
Our tagline is "It's time to break
Break
the
the
silence,"
Absolutely.
which means like if any sort of abuse becomes a pattern, it's not okay to
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल like we are saying to and to all survivors who are watching much strength and love and support, And what I think is humans are vulnerable and relationships are fragile. But there are times when you need to take flight and, develop your own wings. So
Exactly.
to all of you, watching, thank you so much. Follow Random Drift. Do make time to watch this very, very pertinent movie, Time to Break the Silence. And thank you all for coming to Off the Cuff. It was my pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, Namrita.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much,
Thank
Namrita.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Enough is enough, Rajan.